All right. All right. Good morning and welcome to our selection committee for the Independent Taxpayer Oversight Committee, or ITOC. My name is Adrian Paniagua, and I'm a senior financial program analyst at SANDAG. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to joining us today. The first item of business is to select a chair. The committee is asked to select a chairperson for the purpose of conducting the meeting. As a reminder, this means we will need a motion and a second, and the clerk will conduct a roll call vote. If you would like to nominate a member or volunteer for chair to chair the meeting, please raise your hand and provide a comment or nomination. Yes.
Can we nominate Ms. Vasquez?
I find that very interesting. But sure, I can chair the meeting after a very brisk walk here.
Oh, yeah.
I'll second.
Okay, and we can do it by unanimous consent. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, there we go.
Thank you so very much, as this is the first time that I'm able to chair this meeting. Just quickly, for formalities, do we need to say the pledge or anything like that?
We do not.
All right, let's rock and roll here. So today we are here for the Independent Taxpayer Oversight Selection meeting, and we have interviews, and so I think we'll just get right to the business at hand. But before we get started, I just want to check to see if we have any non-agenda public comments.
Thank you, we do.
Oh, okay.
Chair, you can go ahead and step up to the podium, and Chair, will it be 1 minute for this morning?
Yes, it will be 1 minute.
All right, thank you.
Speech.
That means I do not support Raquel as chair. Did you guys give up on Tara the Tyrant or agree just as they're showing up? Because they actually both need to be censured. They should be here for that. Third, Jonathan Frankel may have potential conflicts of interest. He was spotted at the Carlsbad City Council pushing stack and packs that would result in our elders having their local pharmacy demolished. His stack and pack monstrosity, though nicely designed, is being built right next to a highway. So according to the SANDAG science, that means the encouragement of more VMTs and exposing future residents to more GHGs. Big corporate developer stakeholders, suit fast talkers are the least qualified to look over the people's tax dollars. So I demand a new chair, especially because our money continues to be wasted on $16 million a mile bike lanes rather than the projects guaranteed in the TransNet ordinance. The plan says, quote, all the project shall accommodate travel by pedestrians and bicyclists, except where the cost would be excessively disproportionate to the need or probable use, end quote. The TransNet plan has not been followed despite the existence of ITOC. So what's the point of this committee? But I will say, congratulations for following this. Thank you.
Thank you. We do have 2 more public speakers on Zoom.
Thank you.
First, we're going to go to Catherine Rhodes and then the original Ron. Catherine, you can go ahead.
Hello, this is Catherine Rhodes, and what I wanted to talk about was how you don't have any money for your projects because you lost your public vote to increase taxes for transportation. And so you're supposed to come up with alternative funding sources and look into them. And I keep telling you about the 2001 change to the FAA documents, and also that that San Diego is one of 12 grandfathered airports that can use their billions of revenue off-site. And also, for the $350 million you're supposed to receive from the San Diego County Airport Authority, so far you received zero money, and they don't have any plans to actually put it forth for approval to the LA Airport District Officer. So please, maybe somebody on the Air Tech Board, please send this to staff and ask them to go over my alternative funding sources for you. Thank you.
Our next speaker is the original draw. You can go ahead.
I don't know, your mic's not on. It's hard to hear you, but whatever. It's just interesting to see that Vasquez gets picked as chair and she can't even show up to the meeting on time. You guys are so disrespectful to the people who, pay you to be doing your job, and you can't even show up on time. So you don't have any respect for the people to even let them know like what's going on, and then you'll go ahead and pick somebody as chair that's actually kept the meeting delayed and not even address it. You know, it's just pretty telling and sad to see that you guys, you know, treat the public the way that you do. You want to just dismiss the people. You want to not acknowledge them. You know, come and go as you please. Not really stay, you know, pertinent to times, and you know, just shows that you don't really care about who your bosses are. I mean, you work for the people, but yet you act like you don't, and you want trust in the people, but you don't even give respect to them, so you'll never get trust or respect back.
Thank you. That concludes the public comments.
Thank you so very much. And so we do have item number 2, which is the TransNet Independent Taxpayer Oversight Committee appointment of member. And we do have some interview questions here. I'd like to just go ahead and check with our members to see if you would like to ask these questions going from my left to right. We do have one individual here who is not able to speak, so we would wrap around for the last question. So are you okay with that process?
Sure.
Awesome, let's rock and roll, which means that the first question will start with Mayor Morrison. And in fact, I believe that I'll turn this over to you.
Okay. Well, welcome and glad to have you here. First of all, how did you hear about the position and why are you interested in serving as a member of ITALK?
I heard about the position, Adrian actually contacted me. And that's how I heard about the position. And then I did a little bit of research, and your second part was, why do I want the position?
Yeah.
Yes. So I think the first thing that, you know, sparked my interest was public service. I had, I worked at Caltrans for 33 years, retired in 2021, and then had another stint with Caltrans as a retired annuitant. And it kind of sparked the, oh, I want to get back into public service, but in my field, transportation. I've done a lot of other volunteer work outside of my expertise, and that's been great and will continue, but that's what really sparked my interest. The second thing is my experience, I think, speaks to what is needed for this position. I spent a lot of time working on large transportation projects as a project manager for all phases, but also construction. And in reading the materials, there's a lot of auditing and a lot of recommendations that the committee puts forward. I was always on the other side of that, producing information for audits and answering all the questions that have to do with the projects. Also, the volunteer aspect and the time commitment allows me to still be a retired person, enjoying all the things that I've been enjoying for the last 3 years. So that's it in a nutshell.
Yes, thank you so very much. And before we move to the next question, if you can't just state your name so that we have your name on the record.
Yes, my name is Jacqueline Appleton Dean.
Thank you so very much. And which position are you applying for?
I'm applying for the position of on ITALK with the emphasis on construction expertise.
Thank you very much. We'll continue.
If it's okay with the chair, she pretty much answered questions 1 and 2. Is it okay if I move on to 3?
Absolutely.
Perfect. What do you hope to accomplish with your participation?
Another thing that sparked my interest in reading was, you know, moving the TransNet program forward. Not being a roadblock, you know, and reading through the material, that was definitely sprinkled in there. And, you know, so that's what I hope to accomplish. I think one of the challenges in long-term planning is all of the changes that occur, societal, cultural, and how do you keep those commitments to something that happened, you know, now 20 years ago is the second, and move that forward and maintain those commitments.
Understood. Thank you.
And I will ask the final question, how does the time commitment required for the position fit in with your ability? Or your availability, I'm sorry.
Okay. I think quite nicely, and that was one of the things that drew me to the position. Again, I worked for Caltrans as an annuitant, and that was a part-time position, 20 to 30 hours a week. It was great for a year, but I really wanted to get back to retirement because there's things that I want to explore in my life. And so this seems like it's, you know, I'm sure it's not just a one-day commitment. I have to research things, I have to read things, but it's far less of a commitment than a 40 to 50 hour a week job. So that is very interesting to me. And I think that I could handle that quite nicely.
Thank you so very much. And so I will now turn it over to the committee to make comments, perhaps deliberate and make a decision.
Are you ready for a motion?
And the motion to.
I would make.
Sorry, I just want to make sure we take public comment on this item. Did you want to do that now?
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's do public comment and then we'll deliberate and or we'll entertain a motion.
Thank you. Truth will be up first, and after Truth, we will go to the original draw.
All right, it's literally a selection rather than an election. So who do the people hold accountable for a bad decision? There seems to be no public input until now, but I got an answer for the TransNet question. Fulfill the projects before 20 or 30 years pass. Keep your promises. It's really easy. Why does the technical screening committee consist of people outside of the county and someone from a university? What does that have to do with San Diego's transportation projects? Why is there no application for Dennis Walter included in the agenda packet? Is that because he withdrew? And Jacqueline worked on the OME toll with Mario and Maria. What a coincidence. I'm concerned about her working for a former boss. How is the relationship? Allegedly, she worked on port access projects. So we could ask National City about that. I'm also concerned about her global perspective when doing work in this county. It's not China, it's not Canada. And she misspelled the word manage on question 1, section 8, to be technical. I wouldn't select a candidate just because they're the only one, and I would not select someone just because they have a connection to push that pet pollution project through. It's got to be deeper than that. I actually want to hear more questions. Thank you.
Our next speaker will be the original draw, followed by Catherine Rhodes. You can go ahead.
Seems like the new chair doesn't even know how to run a meeting. Anywho, yeah, I thought you're supposed to be picking between two people. And you can't even tell the people what's happening. You're just going to talk to this woman who's going to probably be picked, right? I mean, who else is there unless there's, you know, a frog in your pocket that you're going to pick. And it's just going to be more of the same, more pushing of the United Nations agenda to get us out of our cars into our 15-minute cities, drinking sewer water, walking and biking, taking public transit that is a piece of crap. And so it's just interesting. Yeah, I mean, because why, you know, would you pick somebody that wouldn't do that? And it'll be interesting to see how the new incoming administration affects your ability to be able to keep pushing the United Nations Agenda 21. So if you're going to have a, you know, selection between a couple of people, you might want to have the other person there and or let the people know why they're not there. To be transparent, it would be very nice.
Our final speaker on this item will be Catherine Rhodes. You can go ahead.
Hello, this is Catherine Rhodes. And I agree with everything that Audra says. How many people applied for this position? What were their names? What position, you know, did they apply for? But anyway, I'm very happy about this particular person that you did pick. It's the only one we know of, specifically because she's a fellow civil engineer, and especially in transportation. And so she, that is great. I'm just very happy that you actually have an actual civil engineer in transportation that you're going to put on iTalk. You know, they might know, you know, one of my, you know, my main issues, of course, is all my seismic issues. And she might know about the memorandum to designer 20-10 that SANDAG just doesn't follow. And maybe, maybe she could do something about it. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. And so now I will turn to our committee.
Could we just briefly get an explanation as to why there's only one candidate this morning?
Yeah, so the technical screening committee had recommended two people, Dennis Wilder and Jacqueline Appleton Dean. However, due to medical personal emergency, he had to withdraw.
Okay, understood.
And that should have been included in the report. So the remaining candidate being considered for this role specializes in management of large scale construction. That's Jacqueline. Her application resume recommendation memo from the technical screening committee is in your packet on page 11. And yep.
Perfect, thank you. I'll second the motion.
Okay, and we have a motion and a second. Before we get to the vote, I will say this. The hardest thing to do is to serve. And it is my hope that as we take our vote and you have that opportunity to serve, that you take to heart truth and transparency. Ultimately, the goal is to build trust with SANDAG. And so I'm really happy to support the motion and the second and to move forward with the vote. So let's vote. And all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passing 4-0. Thank you very much. This meeting is now adjourned.